Hey, Falcons fans! Before you click away, you need to hear this because what just went down in Atlanta is massive, and I'm not talking about another injury or another loss. No, no, no. This is about something way deeper, something that's been brewing all season long, and it finally exploded into the open. We're talking about decisions that don't make sense, patterns that scream dysfunction, and a coaching staff that might be in full-blown crisis mode right now. And here's the crazy part, the evidence was right there in front of us the entire time, but it took one game, one performance, one dramatic shift to expose everything. I've got the receipts, I've got the stats, and I've got the questions that every Falcons fan should be asking right now. Trust me, by the end of this, you're gonna see this season in a completely different light. So buckle up, Falcons Nation, because we're about to dive into the most controversial coaching situation in Atlanta right now, and it involves decisions that could determine whether this regime survives or gets blown up in the offseason. But first, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, don't wait. Smash that like button right now, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. Only 1% of viewers actually subscribe. Let's change that together. It's a small action that makes a huge difference. And look, if you want to be part of the most passionate and informed Falcons community out there, this is your moment. Click now because the bombshell content is just getting started, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. All right, let's set the scene. Week 12, New Orleans. The Falcons are sitting at 3-7, riding a 5-game losing streak, and the fan base is in absolute shambles. The season feels cooked. The playoff hopes? Gone. The optimism from the draft? Evaporated. Everything is falling apart. And then something weird happens. Something that makes you go, wait. What? Kirk Cousins comes in, and suddenly, the offense looks completely different. I'm not just talking about a veteran making better decisions. I'm talking about a fundamental change in how the Falcons are running their offense. Cousins is under center. The play action is working. The spacing is better. The rhythm is there. They dropped 24 points on the Saints and snapped that losing streak. Now, you might be thinking, okay, veteran quarterback plays better than rookie. What's the big deal? But here's where it gets spicy, and this is what has Falcons fans absolutely furious right now. Where was this offense when the rookie was healthy? Where was this scheme? Where was this creativity? Why did it take an injury for the offensive coordinator to finally unlock what this unit could do? Here's what's driving everyone crazy, and honestly, it should make you crazy too if you're bleeding red and black. The Falcons have been running two completely different offensive systems based on who's at quarterback, and the contrast is wild. When the rookie was playing, and I'm being careful here because this kid just suffered another devastating injury and I don't want to pile on, the offense was almost exclusively in the pistol formation. Pistol, pistol, pistol. Every single snap. The defense knew it was coming. The fans knew it was coming. Your grandmother knew it was coming. It became so predictable that opposing defenses could literally set their watches to it. The result? The Falcons were 27th in scoring. 27th. With one of the most talented offensive rosters in the entire NFL. We're talking about explosive playmakers, we're talking about weapons everywhere you look, and they couldn't crack the top 25 in putting points on the board. But then Cousins steps in, and boom, we're under center. The play-action game comes alive. Suddenly, receivers are finding space. The run game sets up the pass. The pass game opens up the run. It's like watching a completely different team. And this is where the controversy gets nuclear. Fans spent an entire week asking one simple question: if this system works so well, why weren't we using it before? Now, the offensive coordinator had to face the music. He had to answer for why there are two different systems. And let me tell you, his explanation, it raised more questions than it answered. He came out defending the pistol formation, saying it was tailored to the rookie's strengths. He claimed the young quarterback was third or fourth in the league in yards per attempt, and that the play action from the pistol was working beautifully. He painted a picture of an offense that was actually humming along just fine. Thank you very much. But here's the problem, and this is where it gets really uncomfortable. The stats don't back that up. at all. The rookie is at third or fourth in yards per attempt. He's 15th. Now, to be fair, he is fifth in yards per completion, which is impressive, but his completion percentage dragging those numbers down tells a different story. And even if we're generous and assume the coordinator meant yards per attempt on play action specifically, he's still only 11th. Not third. Not fourth. 11th. And you know who's ahead of him in play action yards per attempt? Kirk Cousins. At 11.8 yards compared to 8.7. So if the coordinator is so convinced that play action is the key, why is he using it less with the guy who's supposedly perfect for it? The rookie only attempted 54 play action passes in 9 games. That's 25th in the NFL. 25th. For a system that was supposedly built around his strengths. Do you see the contradiction here? Because Falcons fans sure do, and they're livid about it. Here's where this gets really, really uncomfortable, and I'm just gonna say what everyone in Atlanta is thinking right now. The immediate switch to putting Cousins under center tells us one of two things, and neither option is good. Option 1, the rookie quarterback, a first-round pick, a guy the franchise invested heavily in, simply cannot operate under center. He's incapable of doing what quarterbacks have been doing at every level of football for over 100 years. That would be catastrophic. That would mean the evaluation was wrong, the development plan is failing, and the future of this franchise just took a massive hit. Option 2, the offensive coordinator doesn't know how to coach or scheme for a quarterback under center. He's locked into this pistol formation like it's the only play in his playbook, and he can't adjust. That would mean the play calling is predictable, the scheme is limited, and the offense is being held back by coaching, not talent. So which is it? Is it the player or is it the coach? Because one way or another, something is fundamentally broken in Atlanta, and the consequences are staring this franchise right in the face. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. This is the offensive coordinator's first time calling plays at this level. First time ever as an OC in the NFL. Now, that doesn't automatically mean he can't do the job. Plenty of first-time coordinators have thrived. But what it does mean is that he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt when things aren't working. And right now, things are not working. When you're running one of the least productive offenses in football with one of the most talented rosters in football, you don't get to stand at the podium and tell everyone that actually, the system is working great and the stats back you up, when the stats don't back you up. When your team is on a 5-game losing streak, averaging barely 20 points per game, and sitting near the bottom of the league in scoring, you don't get to say the pistol is perfect for what we're doing and expect people to nod along. The credibility gap here is massive, and it's only growing wider with every press conference where he tries to defend decisions that clearly aren't producing results. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because this isn't just about one coordinator. The head coach is on the hot seat. Scorching hot seat. The owner has never fired a head coach before their 3rd season, which might buy him some time, but that grace period is running out fast. Here's the brutal reality. This franchise has no long-term answer at quarterback anymore after another devastating injury. They have no first-round pick in 2026. The playoff hopes are basically dead. The roster is talented but underperforming. And the coaching staff is getting exposed week after week. The head coach is complicit in these problems. The loyalty to his offensive coordinator, the inability to make adjustments, the patterns that keep repeating, it all falls on him. But here's the thing, firing the head coach might not even be on the table yet because of organizational history. So what's the play? What's the move that could actually save his job? There's only one answer, and Falcons fans are screaming it from the rooftops: fire the offensive coordinator. Cut ties. Make the change. Bring in someone who can actually unlock this offense's potential. It might be the only way the head coach survives this disaster of a season. Loyalty is admirable, but at some point, you have to make a choice between your friend and your job. Here's the thing that nobody wants to say out loud, but I'm gonna say it because it needs to be said. This situation makes everyone look bad. Everyone. The front office looks bad for hiring a first-time coordinator to lead an offense with Super Bowl aspirations. The head coach looks bad for not demanding adjustments sooner. The offensive coordinator looks bad for running a predictable, ineffective system and then defending it with stats that don't hold up. And yes, even the young quarterback looks bad because he couldn't execute in a system that was supposedly built for him. There's plenty of blame to go around. Injuries play a role. Personnel losses play a role. The schedule plays a role. But at the end of the day, coaching is supposed to be the great equalizer. Good coaches adjust. Good coaches evolve. Good coaches find ways to maximize their talent. And right now, we're not seeing that in Atlanta. We're seeing rigidity. We're seeing stubbornness. We're seeing a staff that's more interested in defending their decisions than in making the changes necessary to win. So here we are, Falcons Nation, standing at a crossroads. The season is essentially over in terms of playoff hopes. The evaluation period has begun, and the decisions made in the next few months will determine the trajectory of this franchise for years to come. Does the head coach survive? Does the offensive coordinator get another year to prove himself? Does the front office blow it all up and start over? These are the questions hanging over Atlanta right now. But here's what we know for sure: something has to change. The status quo isn't working. The talent is too good, the results are too bad, and the excuses are too thin. This franchise deserves better. The fans deserve better. And the players who are putting their bodies on the line every single week deserve better. The controversy is out in the open now. The questions have been asked. The evidence is on the table. What happens next will tell us everything we need to know about whether this regime is capable of learning, adapting, and evolving, or whether we're looking at the beginning of the end. One thing's for certain: the next few weeks are going to be fascinating to watch. Stay locked in, Falcons Nation, because this story is far from over. Go Falcons!